There's a way you take me up from down and place my feet on solid ground.
Hey girl, welcome to my channel. My name is Cynthia, and here I teach women how to become women of substance. And so if you're interested in content that has to do with emotional healing and self-development, a little bit of career, then I think this is the channel for you. Today we're going to be talking about self-sabotage. There are women that are going to watch this video that deal with self-sabotage. So let me go ahead and define what self-sabotage is. So according to positive psychology, self-sabotage occurs when we destroy ourselves physically, mentally, or emotionally, or deliberately hinder our own success and well-being by undermining personal goals and values. I'm gonna just tell you plainly like this. Self-sabotage has to do with pride. It's a false sense of humility where you feel like, okay, I have the gift of this. I have the ability to do this. I'm graced in this area of my life. But you know what? I'm not going to walk in it. That's false humility. That's pride. Because God has literally given you an ability to do something, but you are now choosing when, how often, and if you're even going to walk in it and use it. That's pride. In the Old Testament, when the temple of God was being built, God anointed certain people to do specific things. He literally anointed somebody to, be a craftsman. There were skilled craftsmen that the Lord specifically anointed for that purpose. So imagine if one of them said, as they were growing up, I just have this ability to build things, it's just something small. I just like to play with Legos, it's just not a big deal. Not knowing that several years down the line, God was going to use that same gift to be able to build the temple of the Lord. I mean, that is incredible. You may be watching this and God has given you the ability to write. He's literally called you a writer of writers. Yet you are sitting on that thing and you're not maximizing that full potential because you feel like, oh, it's just writing. Who even likes to read blogs? Who even likes to read books? Do people even still read? People have a short attention span. I'm not going to do it. This is the technology generation. So I'm not doing that. That's pride. That is pride. Meanwhile, God is saying, if you just start that blog and you're consistent and faithful at it, you could be the owner of WordPress later on in the future. If you just wrote that blog, you could be collaborating with Washington Post. You could be featured somewhere in a newspaper. You could be featured somewhere on a national television channel being interviewed for that post that you wrote, and then give me the ability to glorify myself. But you feel like, oh no, I just have this ability. I just have this thing, girl. It's not that deep. Let me tell you something. It is that deep. It is that deep, and I'm coming for it because I don't want to see this in 2024. If God has given you an ability to do something, stop getting in your own way. Stop it. Stop getting in your own way. All of creation is waiting for you. They're waiting for you. Hello? Come on, we need spirit-filled teachers. We need spirit-filled social workers. We need spirit-filled doctors. We need spirit-filled poets and artists. We need spirit-filled people to flood the earth. But one of the biggest pharaohs of that happening is this false sense of humility, self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. There's so much that God has in store for you, but you see yourself less than what you actually are. And you may think that's humility, but it's a false sense of humility because it's not rooted in what God has said about you. It's pride. Because you view yourself in a way less than what God views you and the standard that He has set for you. That's pride. Sis, I'm gonna just call it out. It's pride. I don't know where we got this notion that if I just, lessen myself and, just lessen my ability to do X, Y, and Z, that people are gonna see me as someone that's very humble and very meek. No, it's rooted in pride. I'm gonna just say what it is. See, I received a prophetic word once from someone that said, let me try to say it exactly how he said it. He said something along the lines of, Cynthia, don't limit yourself. Like when you step into rooms, you carry such wisdom. And sometimes like when you're in spaces and people are sharing and talking, you feel like you don't want to talk too much because you have so much to bring to the conversation. And so you then withhold, like you hold back in conversations sometimes because you feel like, man, like I'm the only one talking. I'm the only one that has something to say. I feel like I'm talking too much. So let me like minimize my wisdom and my knowledge and my contribution because I don't want to seem like I'm dominating in the room. And the moment he said that, I'm like, bro, God is real. That is so true. And since then, I've been more cognizant. I've been more aware of not doing that. I'm like, I'm not gonna like minimize myself. Like if the Lord has given me a word of wisdom or knowledge or something, just something to just add to a conversation, I'm not going to sit on it and say, actually, nah, it's okay. I think I've said too much. I think they've heard from me too much. I'm not doing that no more. Prime example, today at work, had a team meeting and my supervisor started off by asking, does anyone have anything to share? It was very just laid back type of meeting. And so he left it up to us to, sort of just let the meeting flow how it wanted to flow. And so, I was just like, I feel like I always have things to talk about. These are just things I'm thinking in my mind. Like, dang, if I say something now, they're gonna say Cynthia always, the one that's driving the team or driving the conversation and da-da-da-da-da. But I say, I'm not gonna limit myself. Like I've been more aware of it too, because I also recognize that some people just need a moment to think. And I don't want to, if I dominate conversations all the time, people may feel intimidated in the sense that, okay, well, what else is there to add? Cynthia already said everything. And so I do actually pause now and just allow people a chance to maybe process and think. I try not to be the first one to speak all the time. So that is a change I have made, because I realized, okay, in as much as the prophetic word was true and it was right, I also want to like make sure I'm not becoming proud and arrogant in my way of sharing. So in the team meeting, and was just waiting. I waited a little bit. No one said anything. And I was like, actually, I'm going to say something, Actually, sorry, I didn't wait. I didn't wait long because I'm like, no, I have something to say, But old Cynthia would have self-sabotaged. I would have gotten my own way, knowing I had something important to bring to the conversation. I would have sat there with that information, literally, in my mouth. Because I'm like, dang, like they're gonna think I always got something to say. Like, but I said today I'm not going to wait. I'm just gonna share. If the man did not want to know what we were thinking or what we wanted to talk about, he would not have asked. He would not have given us the floor, but he did, because he's inviting us to bring things up. And so I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm defeating that mindset and I'm going to share what is on my mind. And as I shared, it literally led probably the first 20 something minutes of our meeting, and people were just giving insights, and it was just a very rich conversation. And I even learned things from that conversation. And so I'm saying all that to say that sometimes we get in our own ways of becoming what we could become, not even knowing that there are opportunities waiting for us on the other side of our obedience, of just walking in the gifting and in the calling that God has for us. You may think you talk too much and you share too much, but you don't even know that they may be considering you for, a higher position in the company because you add so much into the company. But you think, oh, I talk too much, so I ain't gonna say that. But they're like, no, we need that. We need somebody that talk too much. So, I just want to really shed some light on this topic. There is time for us to stop getting in our own ways, and this also, and I'm just going to end with this, but this also ties into the concept of cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is essentially when you do something that you know is not good for you. For example, somebody that smokes and knows that smoking is wrong because it can cause throat cancer and various other health challenges, continues to smoke. That don't make no sense. How are you smoking knowing that this thing is not good for you and you're doing it anyway? How are you limiting yourself, hindering yourself from walking in your full potential, knowing it's not good for you, knowing, and every time you do it, you be like, I don't know why I do this. I need to stop doing this to myself. But you do it all the time. That's cognitive dissonance. It don't make sense. I'm gonna just call it what it is. And so, I just pray that the Lord will help you to come out of that. What area of your life do you find yourself constantly sabotaging yourself? Engaging in self-sabotage. There has got to be a specific area that's coming to mind as I'm talking that you're like, you know what, anytime this comes up, I self-sabotage. I want you to write down the area of your life that you typically self-sabotage in, and then write down the reasons why you do it and pray into it. Ask the Lord to help you, to deliver you from that thing, to deliver you from any false misconceptions about yourself that's not rooted in Him, false humility, pride. Repent for all of that stuff, all right? And then ask the Lord to help you to walk in confidence and to really get over yourself, okay? Let's just be frank, to get over yourself and to just use the gifts and the talents He's given you, because it's not about you. It's about the person next to you that needs what you have.
No.